Governing board, so if those other members would like to join us now. And as these folks come up, I just want to remind everybody, hopefully the confusion about this will get less, but what we're going to be doing today is we have a resolution that the board chose which one they wanted to move forward with at the last meeting. Today's only bit of business will be to vote on that resolution. Is that correct, Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with that said, can we have a roll call of this board, please?
This is a special library district governing board meeting this 22nd day of March 2022. In attendance are Crystal River Councilman Ken Brown, Inverness City Councilwoman Jackie Hepfer, Chairman Ronald E. Kitchen Jr., First Vice Chair Ruthie Schleybaugh, Second Vice Chair Holly Davis, Commissioner Scott Carnahan and Jeff Kennard, County Administrator Randy Oliver, and County Attorney Denise A. Diamond Lynn.
Thank you very much. And again, according to the agenda, we usually begin these meetings with open to the public and end them with open to the public, but seeing that there's only one item for vote today, we probably can combine all that. So at the last meeting, this board moved to go forward with the resolution before us today. So probably be appropriate to have the attorney read that resolution, and then we'd be looking for a motion to adopt and authorize the chairman to execute the resolution. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You're being asked to consider a resolution of the governing body of the Citrus County Special Library District of Citrus County, Florida, providing for changes to the dates and terms of appointments of members of the Library District Advisory Board, providing for a change in the method of appointment of members to the Library District Advisory Board, providing for a change to the frequency of meetings of the Library District Advisory Board, providing for removal of the lifetime appointment of Joseph Bowler, providing for delegation of the authority to announce vacancies to the Citrus County Board of County Commissioners, and providing changes to the frequency of meetings of the Library District Advisory Board, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, any questions about that? And if not, we'd be looking for a motion to...
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Kennard.
I make a motion to adopt and authorize the chairman to execute the resolution providing for changes to Special Library District Advisory Board.
Second.
Okay, and was that Councilmember Hepner I heard down there on the second? All right, okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment on this motion? Okay, this motion is to move forward with the change as was read in the resolution. Is there any public comment on this resolution? Third and final time, I'll call for public comment on this resolution. Are you coming forward here? Okay. If you know you're going to speak, it would benefit everybody if you would try to get closer to the front of the room, just so. Yes.
Yes, I'm Margaret Hampton. I am delighted that you're making these appropriate changes. I just want to request that there are term limits so that there doesn't become de facto continuity. And also that you have not just minimum legal announcements of the positions, but rather that you advertise it in forms such as visibly at the library, where qualified individuals will actually know that there are openings and will apply. Only then will you have the best qualified applicants. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Is anyone else to comment on this resolution?
Good afternoon, board members. John Labriola, Inverness. At the last meeting, you voted to proceed with the resolution that has the 7-member library governing board rather than the 5-member commission be the ones who appoint to the library advisory board. And listening to the comments that were made after I spoke, I think a number of residents had a good point as to how that kind of even though I live in Inverness and would not be affected, I think it kind of disenfranchises people who don't live in the two cities because then they don't have a say in in terms of where if they don't agree with one of the two members who are who represent those two cities, then they don't have a say in electing or replacing them. So I think the 5-member board probably is more equitable, even though I'm from Inverness, it wouldn't be affected. Just just to consider everybody else who lives in the unincorporated areas. But the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is a large number of us attended the Library Advisory Board meeting this morning. We were asked, and we respected the wishes of the County Commission on January 4th, where a narrow majority, asked us to take up the issue of the LGBT displays with the Library Advisory Board. We did that this morning. A large number of us showed up. A large number of us expressed our disagreement with those ideological displays. And the Library Advisory Board essentially, said, we don't care. That it's not, the vice chair actually said, we don't make policy. So this board, by narrow majority, said, we don't make the policy. The Library Advisory Board makes the policy. They told us we don't make the policy, and go take it up with the County Commission. A motion was made to have the Library Director, Eric Head, propose a policy or fashion a policy for the County Commission to consider based on the comments and many comments that were made regarding the objection to the LGBT displays, which by the way, the Citrus County Chronicle said they weren't in the children's section. They were in the entrance. So unless children come in through the window, they all see them coming in. So that I would like you all to consider that today as the applications come before you to replace these members of the Library Advisory Board. Very important, because they basically disrespected us. They had the opportunity at least to make a recommendation and to the board, and they did not. But more importantly, they stated that it is the job of the County Commission to make policy, not the Library Advisory Board. So they punted it right back to you, so it's right back the ball's right back in your court, as I kind of expected it would happen. So we did what the three commissioners said. So we're asking you, to respectfully bring this back before you, but also to replace those members of the Library Advisory Board who were so disrespectful this morning.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next speaker, please?
Good afternoon. My name is Margaret Martis. I live in Inverness. I agree with everything John said, so let's just put a ditto on that. I also would like to let you know that my son, who is disabled, who also received the Ray Darling Scholarship Upward Achievements Award in primary school, he moved to the middle school and noticed that there was little boys wearing dresses in the school. He confronted one of the little boys, and as a result of him confronting the little boy, he said, "God only made boys and girls, and I don't understand why you're wearing a dress." So, with that being said, a couple days later, my son was beat up, put in a headlock, and punched several times, apparently from another little boy who knew the little boy that was wearing a dress. And it has affected us very deeply. My son had to go to the hospital, and he had a concussion. Since then, the school had given him a Hope Scholarship, and I'm very happy to announce that he is now attending Inverness Christian Academy. I don't believe the LGBT, the alphabet people, should be in the school. I don't believe they should be in the library. It is affecting children coming into the library, thinking that the library is a safe learning place that is supposed to be respected, and it's giving our children the bad impression that it's okay to be like that. Thankfully, my son is okay. He has recovered. But I just would like to see the board members changed out frequently, and they should have term limits, and they should put conservative, good people in to make fair judgments for the children. Thank you. That's all I need to say.
Thank you. And we'll address all your points once the motion, once we're done with all public input, but I will address some of those questions about times and dates. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Gil Phelan from Lecanto. I was at the meeting this morning as well, and I've really got some questions on my mind about the competence of some of these people. We have over 1,000 people signed a petition. Hundreds of people show up. The sentiment is overwhelming of what we, the people, want. But you guys ignore us, and so do they. What we want means nothing to you. It's obvious. So, but let me, a couple things, you weren't there. So the head of the thing says, well, we can't go by mob rule. And the other one says, well, just because more people want these displays gone, that's not what democracy is about. Democracy, this is from the book. Government by the people, especially the rule of the majority. That's gone. You guys, it's gone. They're gone. Now that we're awake and you guys are under the microscope, it's not going to get better, okay? I mean, we were told that, oh, well, these people aren't like Supreme Court justices. They don't have forever. Yes, they do. I don't believe it was a lie, but it was certainly misinformation, okay? What's the price? I think that's the important thing for you people. What's the price you're going to pay? You may want to look up the new law, 1557. That includes third parties, okay, who are teaching our children wrongly. They can be sued civilly. They don't have to be a teacher, okay? What's important for you guys, and I looked up your surety bonds. You have surety bonds on. It's only $2,000. That's pitiful, right? Did you know that 100 of us could each one of us sue you? We don't need a lawyer. We can write our own complaint.
I would appreciate if you'd stick to the motion about the resolution.
Well, that's about it. You guys following what we, the people, want, because we talk and talk and talk, nothing gets done. It can't be more clear what we want, but we might as well not be here. So I think it's important to know that there are going to be costs to pay for you guys to continue ignoring us. It's not what you think, it's what we think. We're the boss. And nobody realizes that anymore. So there could be 100 of us each having a lawsuit against you, okay? And while they're under investigation by the surety company, not a lawyer, not a court, the whole budget of the county can be shut down. So those are sort of the things that you may want to consider as you continue on wanting your way instead of the people's way. We're awake, we're paying attention. So the fight may have to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we have the next speaker, please?
Deborah Spence, Crystal River. Richard Nixon coined the term a long time ago about a moral majority, and found out that the moral majority was neither. It was neither moral nor was it a majority. There are 135,000 voters in Citrus County, and you've heard that 1,000 people signed a protest. That's not a majority. It's not a morality. It's not a plurality. So when we talk, I just heard what I heard with threats, that if you don't do what we want, then there's going to be consequences. In my mind, there's 134,000 people that don't care. You're hearing from a very local group of people. So what I'm saying is keep it as a 7-member board, keep it as wide as we can. For those counties that are, for those areas that are upset because they're not represented, I believe they're not an incorporated area. That's their choice for their government areas. Some are done by the county and some are done by their own local areas. That's nothing to do with what we have going on here today. So my vote is to continue with the 7-person majority.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please. Do we have another speaker? Any other speakers?
Hi there. Lori Pettengill from Homosassa. I'm wondering who are the real jurisdictional policymakers, because we attended a meeting this morning, about 50 people spoke, and at the very end of the meeting they said, well, we're advisory only, we don't make the decisions, you've got to go back to the county commissioners. So I think when we redo the bylaws, we've got to figure out who really has the jurisdiction of making decisions. Is it one man, Eric Head, who runs a library? What is your purpose? And I just feel like there's a gap here because we've been thrown back and forth. And I just wanted to make that statement because I think it's important that we don't have this situation again. and that somebody is responsible for the decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else to speak? Anyone else to speak on this motion?
Hi, my name's April Mclaughlin. I'm from Beverly Hills. I feel the 7 member is the way to go. It's just 7 seems a wider group than 5. Everybody here runs from a district when they run for election. So obviously, everyone in the county has representation, or you wouldn't be here, and that wouldn't work. We would just have 2 or 3 people from Inverness or Crystal River, so everybody does have representation. The board needs to be at 7 because of that. What they're saying about what happened this morning is not exactly what happened. There's some misrepresentation there. There was, everyone spoke that wanted to speak, which is the way it should be, and the banning of displays in the library is something that I really feel strongly about. Like, it shouldn't happen. This is America. We shouldn't be banning anything. There should be decorum. We shouldn't put anything that's offensive out, and we never have. But if there are some people that feel that something's offensive, there's other people that feel that other things are offensive. If we ban the books that they want, then there are going to be other people that are going to want to ban the Christmas tree and the menorah and so forth and so on. It's a public library. It's for everybody. If we use our common sense, we can work it out. Thank you.
Thank you. We need you to fill out a green card, please. Next speaker, please. And again, please try to keep it to this motion, because we do have open to the public coming up right after this, which you can talk about anything you want. Yes.
Okay. Mark Conley from Hernando. I also attended the library board meeting this morning. And what John Labriola said about what transpired at the board meeting was correct. The Library Advisory Board basically abdicated any role in connection with setting policy for these things. I also spoke at the prior meeting objecting to the notion that the Library Advisory Board should be a 7-member board. I do live in Hernando, and I only get 1 representative who's going to be voting on these kinds of policies, while my friends in Inverness and Crystal River get 2 representatives to vote on that. And I think that is inconsistent with the rights of the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else to address the board? Yes, ma'am.
It's me again. I wasn't going to speak today because I have spoken so many times before. But I heard a little comment, and it really caused me to get up here and say something. Our side is called communists. Do you know who the first transgender person was? You know who it was in all history? It was under Hitler. Hitler would force men and women to go through those changes against their will. And when he was done with them, he killed them. That's a fact. You know what else is communists? Communists are anti-God people. This whole movement is anti-God because God says there's a right and wrong and a good and bad. And I'm sorry that we have morality is twisted today. It's evil for good and good for evil. God said it's wrong.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board at this time on this resolution? I'm sorry? Could you give us your name, please? Okay. Just so we have it in the tape.
I've been here so
My
many
fault.
times before.
Okay.
Mary Cedar, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else to address the board at this time? Okay, so we're going to close public comment to the board. Just a couple things I'm going to address before we do any discussion on the motion. Again, according to my records, the motion is by Commissioner Kennard to adopt and authorize the chairman to execute the resolution, and that was seconded by Commissioner Hepner. Okay, just so you folks know, all those things you talked about, term limits, et cetera, addressed in here. It is a 7-member board consisting of the folks sitting up here. I too have heard the same thing. To me, it's not a deal breaker. Everybody in Citrus County votes on every commissioner. So if you live in District 1, you still get to vote for the commissioner in District 2 2, 3, 4, 5, you get to vote on them all. Other people said, well, if I live in the city, then I'm getting 2 representatives. Well, I guess that's the benefit of paying more taxes and living in the city, So I'm not going to break, to me, this whole thing, just so we stay clear on this, is about getting it right, okay? The attorney and the administrator said, hey, there's mass confusion here, and these months have been spent trying to straighten it out. So I think we're coming down the road to do that today. If this motion passes, okay, this being made, which it should, since we all voted to bring this motion back for adoption today, if this resolution passes, just so you'll know, later on today in the county agenda is that we are going to announce these applications, okay? Applications will be taken for the Library Advisory Board. The deadline will be the 5th of April, okay? So I hope everybody's writing this down, putting it in their date savers or whatever. That will be the 5th of April. If this resolution passes, the announcing of applications will be delegated to the BOCC, which we'll do today. If that, then after the deadline of the 5th, the vote to appoint people to the board will take place at a meeting of this 7-member board at 1:15 on April 26th. Okay, so if everybody's clear about those dates, and it's important that everybody hear what everybody has to say today, because if you're advocating to be on that board, stay on that board, or have somebody taken off that board, the 7 people up here's job is to go through every one of those resumes and appoint the people that they think are best qualified for that job. So if you're gonna lobby or advocate for, against, or whatever, that will be the time to do it. So today's Library Governing Board meeting will be, I would think, relatively short. I would think the one on the 26th will be much longer. So you folks from the municipalities may want to pencil out a little more time, perhaps, for that day. Okay, so, and again, the policy is just that. There was much confusion. We were willing to make the policy, some of us here at the BOCC. We decided not to step on the Library Governing Board's toes, give them the opportunity. If in fact what I heard today was the same, is that they said they are an advisory board, which is what my feeling has always been, that this board gives direction. So my understanding would be that the 7-member board would be the one that makes the policy. Would be your understanding as well, Madam Attorney? The policy about, today, if they said, we don't make policy about displays, that's up for the library board to make. Would it be the 7-member board, or would it be the BOCC board?
I need to go back and look and see what happened today, because I wasn't there, so it's difficult for me to say what they said, and I believe that it would be currently up to the library director to create the policy, so.
Okay.
I'll have to look at that.
Well, that's the one question remaining, is if we said we can't make it and they say they can't make it, I always thought these boards were the policy-setting boards. Either you're advisory to the elected people, and the elected people set the policy.
I'm not sure what happened
Okay.
today.
But in either case, we'll get that question resolved. The other one is about deadline, April 5th for applications, and the positions will be awarded, or the appointments will be made on April 26th, okay? Other member comments about the motion? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I really appreciate all the comments, and there was a couple comments made today, and there was a few comments made at the last meeting about why does the cities of Crystal River and why does the city of Inverness have a representative on the board, and I live in Lecanto or Floral City, whatever, and I don't have that vote. Well, it goes back to 1984, when each of those cities were invited to participate in a special taxation for the library board. The cities at that time could have refused to participate, thus not paying a special tax item. The cities agreed that they would pay the tax item, and it was agreed by the BOCC at that time to allow a representative from each of those municipalities to be a member of the governing board. So that answers why the city of Crystal River and the city of Inverness is there. Floral City is not a city. Hernando's not a city. Homosassa is not a city. If they were a city, they probably would have been given the same option that the cities of Crystal River and Inverness were given. So I hope, for those of you that were a little confused on that, hopefully that will clear it up. And if you have an issue with that, it goes back to 1984, when this was all passed. Secondly, the definition of an advisory board is an advisory board. They serve at the pleasure of the governing board. So they do not make policy, is my understanding.
That would be mine.
They make a suggestion or advice to this governing board with their director, and then it's up to this governing board to make decisions on policy changes. Now, day-to-day business, I don't know about you guys, I don't want to get micromanagement into Mr. Head's management of the library, but when it comes to definitive policy changes, yes, it comes to this governing board. And if I'm incorrect, please correct me at that. Lastly, I do have one question, though. On the fourth whereas, it says 4 years for the term limit. And then if I go to the page 8, it says 2 years. So I need to know,
That's the old one, and the other one's the new one.
so is it 4 years or is it 2 years?
The original resolution said 4 years. However, there was an attempted resolution somewhere after that which attempted to change it to 2, which it's questionable whether that was a proper position to take, but then the library board started doing 2 years. So this is just a codification of that attempt and what is in practice.
Okay, so it's 2 years.
2.
2 years. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Any other comments on the motion? Okay, I see no other board comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. That passes unanimously. So, board, we will see this board back at 1:15 on April 26th.
Thank you.
And we will do those presentations. So, thank you,
I said
folks,
too
very
soon.
much. We'll adjourn the special governing body of the library district, and now we're going to reconvene.